stuff. I'm joined here by the team captains. I've got Neebs and I've got Stonemountain. I think first of all we'll say congrats to Stonemountain. How do you feel?
Excellent, man. You know, I've been a commanding officer for a couple years on the battlefield. Had a couple good operations back in Operation Firestorm. You guys have probably heard of that one. Yeah. But back in 2013, Battlefield 3, I'm hardcore, no. But good game. Great playing with all these guys, and Neebs in particular. We got you, man.
That's right. Now, I know there's been a lot of trash talk between you two before today. How did it feel to actually get out there on the battlefield? The very first multiplayer gameplay of Battlefield 1. How did it feel?
It was great. I mean, the game is awesome. I got to be a taxi driver for Jamie Foxx and Zac Efron for a whole match.
Nice.
I got to kill this guy at least once.
I got you back.
Okay, so technically we're tied. Technically we're tied. But love it. I didn't learn about the gas mask until 3 minutes before that last match ended. So apparently you have to put a gas mask on. Pro tip.
I think that's quite a big deal in Battlefield 1, right? Now, you are very well known for your call-outs, for your communication. Did that make a difference for you today?
Yeah, I was trying to really command the squad whenever we won a game. Shout it out to them, and definitely I'd say it helped out, but I might be biased.
Were they listening, or?
Yeah, they were helping out. I was working with Snoop as well, trying to guide him. He had a tank rolling on the gunner as well. It was pretty beast.
All right, Neebs, you were playing with a lot of players you probably haven't played with before, right? I mean, you're right next to Jamie Foxx here. Who really stood out for you from the celebs that you were playing with today?
The celebs. Jamie was needed a little work. He was warming up towards the end, but I don't think he's a natural just yet.
He's probably still around, so we could have a word with him afterwards, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, in the back of the gun, once I got him there, he started getting comfortable. But yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't. Doom 49 kept killing me. He's picking on, and Anderzel. They were out for me.
And you had my friend Major Nelson on your team. How did he do? Did he represent for Xbox?
Man, I was so confused with all these lights and things going on. It was hard for me to keep up with who was killing me. But I know for sure Doom and Anderzel, bullies.
All right. Well, Stone, your team took it. Who was the MVP on your team for you?
To what he was saying, I think Doom 49, he was rolling in that light tank, heavy tank, destroying. But we had a lot of good people. The thing is, when I'm heated in the battle, it's hard to keep up with what everybody's doing. I'm kind of focusing on my squad. So I'd have to look back at the footage, really analyze my squad's work.
Yeah, all right. Well, you've got plenty of time for that. Now, it's the first time anyone's been able to get hands-on with Battlefield 1 multiplayer. Like, tell us how it really feels. Like, how would you communicate how the game feels to your audience and to everyone watching?
It feels good. It feels gritty. And like, it feels tight. When you pull a gun out, I mean, it feels heavy. It feels like it's doing damage. Tanks are mean. Tanks are great.
Yeah, there's a kind of brutality to the weapons in this game, right? Did you feel that when you're playing it?
Definitely. And even what you notice, like the rain coming down on the weapons and the brutality, the Zeppelin that's overhead, that thing's pretty bad. And when that thing comes down, the destruction, the graphics, it's intense.
All right. And tell me about the interplay between the different vehicles. Does it feel kind of like what you're used to in Battlefield, or is there new dynamics to the way those vehicles work with each other?
I personally think it's very different. I mean, like, one of the tanks has a driver that has like a heavy gun, and then you got two cannons on each side. So to me, that's great because you can have your squad in there and you can be communicating, turning your tank to one side and let him fire on the other guy. So and then the animation getting in adds a lot of fun to it. So,
did you get up into the air, Stonemountain?
I didn't in this game, but those air vehicles, the fighter, getting somebody in the back as that turret, that's where team play can really come in handy. And same thing with the tanks. It can get brutal.
All right, so how about some tips for people when they get their hands on Battlefield 1? And don't forget, you'll be able to play it first on Xbox One exclusively with EA Access. When people get their hands on it, what do they need to start thinking about? Do they need to change their outlook on Battlefield?
A lot of your Battlefield strategies from the past will work. Yeah. If you see gas, put your mask on. That's something I didn't do. And yeah, I mean, it's team play, so work with your squad.
Yeah. So that working as squads, communication, knowing your role within the team, that's still a big deal for Battlefield, right?
Yeah, I mean, watch out for me if you're on the battlefield. But besides that, yeah, squad play is hands down going to be your thing. The air vehicles, being able to ride shotgun inside the vehicle, have 2, 3 people in those bombers, that's what's key. Working as the squad overall, that's definitely my go-to tip.
Yeah. If this one parachutes in next to you and starts talking to you, then yeah, you're
You might want to mute me. You might want to mute me because I'm going to be yelling at you.
yeah, you're in trouble. Tell me about some of the YouTubers you had on your team as well. You had some pretty good talent on your squad here.
And we had a lot more, but someone stole them yesterday. Yeah, I don't know if you heard about that.
Was this like, what's happening here? Was there dodgy transfer situations? Was it?
I worked very hard to build my team, and then Stone started stealing my teammates. Doom was originally on my team. Anderzel took them, man.
So how did you swing this then? Is this, mind games? What's going on?
It was some hard negotiations and some good work, but we managed to get level cap as well from them. Good asset, breaking up the squads with Jack Frags and all those guys. Managed to at least get level cap, and that definitely helped our squad out as well.
You had a couple of British players on your team, right? Did they make a difference for you? Jack? I mean, we know Jack's an amazing Battlefield player.
Jack's a good player. I think he was on your team, though, Neebs. Yeah, but we had a lot of foreign guys on our team, relative to U.S., I guess, but no, they're excellent players as well. Communication's a little bit more difficult with the Spanish-talking people, but,
Did you resort to hand signals? I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I was flailing my arms around a bit. But,
All right, good. So tell me about some of the highlights from the matches for you. What are some of the key moments for you?
Probably, I hope it was shown, because there was a moment when Stonemountain rolls up and when there's mini tanks, and it's just me and my anti-tank gun, so I drop down and shoot him. Do you remember that moment?
I do remember it. I was in my tank. I was like, who is shooting me? And then Neebs kills me, and he's jumping around, and it was super disheartening. But that's when I got you back shortly later. I came back to that same spot, rolled up in a tank, another tank. You were in one at that time, and I got you back.
Yeah, it's even.
No, one of the amazing things is, I mean, these big airships coming in.
Yeah.
What difference did that make to the matches, and how do you need to leverage that airship when it comes in?
Well, I think you have to get used to the airship. I'm a little lost on it yet, because when I get in, I'm driving. I'm just like, wow, I'm driving. I'm not really thinking about dropping bombs yet. It's because it's so new, but it's a game changer if you know how to use it. You got to steer it in the right areas, give your gunners a clear shot at the objective, so it could turn the game around for you.
Destruction, we know, is like a really key part of the Battlefield experience. It looks better than ever in Battlefield 1, right? Did you see that? Did that play into your tactics, is destruction in the Battlefield?
Yeah, I mean, the destruction overall, and even going back to that Zeppelin, when that thing comes in halfway through and it is dropping bombs down, it can completely level windmills, buildings, and if they still have that thing up, you got to focus it down quickly. And if Neebs is piloting, maybe you're not as dangerous, but...
One of the other highlights we saw as well is this bayonet charge. Were you on the end of any of them? Did you see any of them?
Well, I have a special use for the bayonet charge. People shoot at me a lot. I bayonet charge to get away from people. You run faster, it's a great escape strategy.
Yeah. You're bayoneting the other way.
Yeah, towards cover. Towards cover.
That sounds like quite good. Any other, cowardly tactics like that yourself?
I mean, that's a good tip, man. That's a good tip. I didn't even think of that. Just stay down, stay out of the way of tanks, and blow them up. Go after the vehicles, go after those air vehicles whenever they come at you.
Those anti-tank grenade stacks, pretty impressive as well, right?
They're awesome looking. You've got this stick with all these grenades attached right to it. Chuck it at the tanks, and then you've got this bipod missile launcher you can drop out, and it's effective at taking them out. It's just a matter of shooting them. Same thing with even your regular rifles do extremely strong work to the actual air vehicles. You shoot those wings, it actually does a good amount of damage to them. So if they're flying overhead and you manage to get a couple of shots onto the air vehicle's wings, it'll take it out, and then it becomes more difficult to pilot. I'm sure those guys were talking about it up top, but...
Amazing. Sorry, we just did a little shimmy over there. I don't know if you noticed. It was very seamless. But this is the thing, right? Some of there's these new weapons that were new in World War I, but the technology isn't what we know it now, right? So you're still dealing with some pretty rickety vehicles, and that changes things, right?
I mean, a little bit. The tanks, I think the tanks are a little slower, but the truck, I don't know the name of all the vehicles yet, but like those trucks, man, you can get around quick, and you got a gun on top of that. They feel good. They don't feel like they're, you know, obsolete. They feel like powerful weapons. And yeah, I like them.
What was the best weapon you used during the games there?
I think the land ship, is that the big tank with the treads, and that's my favorite. Well, the small tank is really good. You were using that one.
That small, the small light tank was really strong. Heavy, that was the land ship you were talking about. That thing's powerful. In terms of weapons, I really like the SMGs. Super fast fire rate. They could really tear people apart. And to your point, I mean, it looks like it's old, but you really feel powerful. And when you have the headphones on, those explosions are going off, you're shooting the sound effects. It's really heavy, man, and it feels good.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations to you, Stonemountain. I'd give you an award, a trophy, but I've got nothing, mate. So just pride, okay? Take that away with you. You'll always have that. Thanks, gents. I really appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here representing Xbox and supporting Battlefield 1, the very first live gameplay of Battlefield 1. And don't forget, you'll be able to play it first exclusively on Xbox One with EA Access. We are signing off. It is just the start of E3 week, and it's been a pleasure. So thank you for joining us, gents. Thank you. And we're out. See you later.